Bitcoin is blasting off. What a start to the week. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Trade at your own risk. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Bitcoin pumping. So hit that like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell, and let's jump into the market. All right, we see 900 million on the real volume for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 4% today. We got Bitcoin SV up 11%, 9% EOS, 13% Ethereum Classic, 7% Cardano. Man, it's looking good. And also altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. This is good to see. If we're entering a new bull market, like an official bull market, might be time to start looking at some swing trades on altcoins. But we'll get into that later. Let's look at the crypto fear and greed. We moved up to a 50, sitting neutral. But if we keep pumping, woo, it's going to pump. This is going to move this way. All right. So Bitcoin halving 105 days. I got a nice little story about the halving. Bitcoin halving spikes on Google Trends. Here's what it means for crypto. Basically, more people are searching the halving. And we all know when the Google Trends start moving up, you can see this is the Google Trends pumping here. Usually the price pumps with it. And then when Google Trends, like searches on Bitcoin, start falling off, the price actually falls off. So it's kind of a good indicator. So it's good to see that people are searching Bitcoin again. They're searching Bitcoin halving. People are getting more interested in the space. They don't want to miss out. This is good to see. All right. Moving on. Bitcoin is a leading indicator of the coronavirus outbreak. Basically, this is a Forbes story. So it's good to see Bitcoin, on the front page of Forbes website. Basically, in short, they're saying people in China, they might want to leave the country. I would too if I was them. And they can only take so much cash with them. So maybe they're moving their money into Bitcoin. They can leave the country and then they have their Bitcoin wallet wherever they go. This is, some people think that Bitcoin can be a safe haven asset, and this is an example of a safe haven asset. Okay, so also what they were saying, this chart was pretty interesting, this was where the coronavirus was first reported here, and then when the news started to escalate, we saw a pump in Bitcoin, and then they're like, okay, then maybe it's not so bad, the price was coming down, and now the price is pumping. Probably because the death toll has risen to 80 plus. There's thousands of people in China that have already got the virus. People all around the world are starting to get worried. And now we're seeing the price go up. Okay, so possibly Bitcoin's price is a leading indicator of the coronavirus. That's what this article is saying. Anyways, let's go to the charts because that's what really matters, right? Right now, just on the daily, what I'm looking at, two possibilities here, okay? So let's see, what do I want to say? Basically, this green trend line here was that horizontal resistance and support that we had been looking at for a little while. We had resistance, we flipped it as support, it was resistance, we broke above. Okay, so I'm going to leave this horizontal here. Then I've drawn another horizontal right above. This was where we were trying to break above. We couldn't close candles. We finally had a pump above, but then finished that daily candle back below. So I've drawn a horizontal because we'll have to see in about 2.5 hours, we'll get our daily close. So do we close above this horizontal by end of day, or do we close beneath it? That's what we will be watching for, okay? And then these purple diagonals I've drawn just as a possibility. Basically at this touch to this touch, if we break above, this will be invalidated. But if we do get rejected here, this will be a nice start to our trend line. So we have these touches, and then I've drawn from here to here. So basically, if we do get rejected at this level, we could be putting in a symmetrical triangle formation. That's a possibility. We could also be bouncing between these two horizontals, okay? So I'm just using these as possibilities. You want to be prepared for everything, okay? More importantly, on the daily, we have our 200 daily SMA coming in right here. So kind of lining up with this horizontal and this diagonal. We'll take away the drawing tools. Whew, I gotta slow down, getting too excited. Okay, so basically this 200 daily SMA is coming in at 89.17. Current price is 89.55. So we are trying to break above. The fight is on. If we zoom into a 15-minute chart just to see what's going on, I put in 89.17, this white line right here, okay? So we can see this is what we want to try and stay above for the remainder of the day. And we broke above and it's back tested it, and now we're maintaining support currently. But like I say, if you want to be safe, I think you should wait for the daily close. Or if you're entering now because you just can't wait, just know that, it is a possibility that we reject by the end of the day. The fight is on. I've seen it just, you have a wick up, wick down, and this one has just been up and down. The bulls and the bears are fighting. The bulls want to maintain that level for sure, okay? Let's see. Anything else right there? You can basically see what's going on. Okay, so I'm jumping around a little bit at first, and then I'm going to do the usual 4-hour, 12-hour daily, weekly breakdown like I always do. But, first things first, wanted to show what's on my mind. Okay, so let's talk about the CME real quick. I want to address this. Basically, we still have a CME gap here, okay? We had a little bit of a drop down last night, but we didn't fill the gap. Guys, this is my thought, in my opinion, not financial advice. Most CME gaps have filled, and most of them fill within the first few days or week that they happen, okay? Just a majority. There have been gaps that don't fill at all. The last example will be 11.8K. That's way up here. Let's take a look at that. So you have this gap up here that was never filled, okay? Also, recently what I've noticed is the gaps have been filling but leaving just a slight amount unfilled. And possibly, since everyone's been talking about gaps, like this whole way up, people weren't talking about the gaps as much. They ended up filling, but I feel like all in here, everyone caught on to the whole gap idea, all right? So recently, what I've noticed is the gaps get filled like 80, 90%, still leaving a small amount, and we end up having to move on, and we're like, you know what? It's good enough, right? What I think has happened is everyone has caught on to this idea, so people have been front running the gaps. They know that people are waiting for the gap to get filled, so they put their orders right in there, and they catch that, wick, and then it bounces back, okay? And then on this time, we were looking for the same thing to happen right here. It looked like it was going to happen, but people with big money were like, and then they just blasted off, all right? Could this gap fill later? Yes, it could. Like I was showing you, we had the potential, range between the top side horizontal and the bottom side. We have a potential range that might happen, and maybe it gets filled there, or maybe it's that symmetrical triangle that I showed you and it gets filled there, or maybe we just never fill it at all. I don't care. When it's very close, if the gap is super close, yes, I'm going to be thinking about the gap. But to me, it's kind of like an indicator. Sometimes you have conflicting indicators. So you have to kind of decide, all right, which one holds more weight? Are we seeing a majority bullish indicators or a majority bearish? And this is just one type of indicator. When we're over here, I have to keep in mind that this might happen, okay? But when we're way up here or we continue higher, I'm not going to be thinking about the CME gap anymore. I don't care. Yes, maybe it will fill later, but if we're up at 10,000, I'm not going to be like, hey guys, we still have the gap at 8,500, and because of that, I think we're going to drop. No, I don't care, okay? Only when it's within the first day or two and we're super close am I really paying attention to that. Otherwise, I'm going to forget about it. Enough about the gaps. I hate the gaps. All right, anyways, it's part of the game. So now that I got all of that out of the way, we're going to do the usual 4-hour, 12-hour, all that good stuff, okay? So we're looking at this. I showed you the drawing tools. We'll hide those. Let's take a look at the EMA MA. So we blasted off. The 10 simple support is all the way down at 86.60. We have kind of removed ourselves. There's a lot of space between here and our EMA MAs. Often when the price gets too far away from these, they end up coming back to meet them. You can see here we blasted off, but when you took off here, your 10 simple was way down here, and then basically like we had a little drop and then finally was able to touch it and we went off again, but then we were separated too far and it brought us back. It kind of acts like a magnet sort of. So could be similar. Maybe we start going sideways here and we wait for these to catch up, or we have a dump, or we keep going. Nothing has to happen, but I will say when the price starts moving too far away from these supports, they usually act as a magnet. Okay, we can see the price is 89.19, so we'll have to see if we hold that 89.17. I think it was the daily SMA. Okay, so that's that with our moving averages. Ichimoku, again, we blasted off. Your support's way down here, so this could act as a bit of a magnet. Your pink baseline is at 8,700. That would be the support if we did get a dump, okay? Or you have the green cloud down here coming at 85.90. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that would be, maybe the first area of support. This lines up with those moving averages as well. The Bollinger Bands, we're just gliding along the top band, so that's pretty bullish. You can see what happens when you stay on the outside of the upper band, okay? Let's see. The Stokes, okay. So Stokes are pretty high. Looking for a bit of a cross here, but the cross hasn't confirmed. The cross, if the price drops below the daily 200, we'll probably get that 4-hour cross. But remember what happened when we were pumping here, okay? So, when we're pumping, the Stokes and the RSI become a little less relevant. But you got to keep them in mind. Our RSI is in the overbought territory, but you know what? These things can stay overbought. You can see this one here. It just dipped down a little and then took off again, okay? So I wouldn't be so quick to short just because we're overbought in the RSI or that we're up here in this region on the stochastics. Okay, when we're bullish, I'm not looking for shorts. People got wrecked trying to short here. People I respect were trying to short here. But guys, I'm not looking for shorts right now. Unless I'm given a good reason, okay? But not yet, not yet. Let's keep moving. 12-hour. 12-hour Stoke crossed up, super nice. That was a great signal I was talking about yesterday, and man, did we take off. Just looking at this real quick, you can see, let's take off this diagonal because the horizontals are more important anyways. Basically, if we can close above here, that's going to look amazing, okay? And I think we might continue much higher up into the 10,000 regions is what I'm looking for. I went over this in depth yesterday, but basically I'm thinking if we do start closing above the daily 200, we're going to make an attempt at the top of this high right here. We're trying to put in a macro higher high. Your RSI has not reached overbought on the 12-hour. Moving averages, again, kind of separated from your support here. This yellow 21 EMA is down at 85.40. Same kind of deal as the 4-hour. Ichimoku clouds. Okay, so this conversion line is going to be your support at 8,700. That's pretty similar to what we said on the 4 hour as well. And the Bollinger Bands, we did hit the top of the Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band resistance is coming at 89.64, so we have hit that target. So we're going to have to see what happens with this 12-hour close. Will happen in 2.5 hours, same time as the daily close. Maybe we just keep going and we start riding on top, or this would be, a potential short-term rejection, and your middle BB would be the support at 85.96. Okay, looking good. Let's move on to the daily. On the daily has a little bit more room to go on the Bollinger Bands, and it's starting to curl up. So this could give us some room. The top of the band is at 91.57. Yes, that would be nice. I would love to see us close above the 200 simple today. All right, your support's going to be down at 84.92, but we are back in the bullish zone of the BB. Whew! All right. Looking for a cross up on the daily. This is not confirmed yet, but we might get that cross by the end of this daily close. So watch for that on the stochastics. If we can get that close and we cross up, we got plenty of room for that pump. If we start going this, pumping up, your stokes are going to start gliding up, and that's going to make that attempt up here, okay? We got to break that 200 simple, and we also want to close above that horizontal I was showing. You can see it again. These white lines, this is just a hypothetical situation. I drew this diagonal from here to the top of that wick to the top of that wick, and we're kind of meeting it now. So we're going to want to get above this horizontal and above this downward channel. Or not downward channel, but this downward trend line, I should say, because if we do get rejected, I was talking about yesterday a potential descending triangle formation within here, using this as your horizontal. But right now, as it stands, it's not looking that way, especially if we get this stochastic cross up. Your RSI has plenty of room to go as well, okay? And guys, look at the daily. When we're bullish, we can go way into the overbought. So, if we pump to, let's say, 92, 93, and the RSI gets right here to a 70, don't be jumping straight into shorts, because look, you can keep going. This one went all the way up to 85, 88, okay? And you had it again there and there. So anyways, that's that. Let's look at we'll look at our moving averages again. So so we had that horizontal range that I showed you. Another range we could possibly have is just staying between this 200 EMA, the green, and the pink 200 simple. Say we do get rejected. We might end up bouncing between these two guys as a bull flag before going up and onward, okay? Or the 10 simple is coming in at 86.24, the blue 10 simple. That would be your first support before you came all the way down here. I would imagine you get a rejection, your first support area would be this 10 simple, and then your yellow 21 EMA, and then down here. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Feeling bullish, but prepared for everything. Ichimoku, we bounced off the conversion, and we're well above our cloud again. This cloud is starting to tighten up. If we could start putting in some more bullish candles on the daily, you're going to see a green cloud start. And if we can get a green cloud, like kind of how we had down here, this green cloud took us all the way from 4,000 to 14,000. So we can see this starting to tighten up. And if we get a green cloud, that would be a nice little signal as well. The bottom of the cloud is 86 to 87, so that could be support for you on the Ichimoku indicator. Bollinger Bands, we looked at that. Stokes looked at that. So let's go to our weekly. Weekly Stokes still going to the upside, looking nice. Haven't been rejected yet. And our RSI is looking to form a higher high. we're pretty much just at this horizontal right here, you can see. And we are in the bullish territory of the Bollinger Bands. We closed above, we tested the middle band, and we blasted it off. And the top band is coming in at 98.77. That would be if we just continue pumping, I think that would be the next area of interest for a temporary resistance, okay, on the weekly. Let's look at our Ichimoku. Ichimoku, we did get that bearish cross, but we're back in the cloud, and if we can keep going up, you're going to see this twist and probably cross back over, okay? So that's why, I wasn't freaking out. Same as the CME. I had a bearish cross on the Ichimoku cloud, or Ichimoku Kumo cross was bearish, but I said that was just one indicator. So, you take all of these with a grain of salt, so to say, but if they start adding up, then you have more of a bias, if that's the right word. Anyways, starting to get tired. Okay, we're going to make it, though. We're going to make it through. So the EMA MAs, we did close above the 21 EMA. We back tested it as support. We bounced off, and we're nice and well above. I was looking for a bullish green candle on this week. If we can finish this week bullish, this is great for Bitcoin. There's plenty of time left in the week, so it's too early to say. Price 89.10. Those bears are trying to push the price back below the 200 simple. It's going to be a fight today, guys. But you can see starting back here in 2015, once we got above the yellow 21 EMA, it carried us all the way to 20,000. Okay, so we want to maintain that. If we can maintain the 21 EMA on the weekly, we can confidently be talking about a bull market, okay? But if we lose it, then it looks like this guy here or this guy here, and we might get that little descending triangle that I was talking about. We might come back and test the 200 EMA or the pink 200 simple on the weekly. All right. That's that as far as those go. And let's just finish up with the Heiken Ashi, okay? Hit the like, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff. Before I do the Heiken Ashi, this is just basically, if you zoom out, you can see possible symmetrical triangle formation on the weekly. You have your vertical line here for May. That's where the halving's coming in. So also, guys, I think, okay, yeah, I have the previous halvings here. We can all see right before the halving, we had a rally before the halving, and then just a couple weeks right before it, there was a bit of a sell-off, and then after the halving, we took off. Again, you had a little rally before, and then a couple weeks before the halving, we had a little sell-off, and then we took off again. So we could potentially see maybe a rally going this way. Let's zoom in a little more. We could have a rally, break this high, maybe find support here, travel in this area, maybe even get above here. That would be super bullish. Then a couple weeks before the halving, have a little sell-off, and then take off again. That's just based on two halvings. It's only two, so it's not the most reliable indicator. But if we're going to have a three-peat, so to say, that's what you would be looking for, okay? So let's go to the Heiken Ashis. Heiken Ashi on the weekly, nice and green, nice bullish trend. You can see what happens when these turn green. These are weekly candles as well. So you just have a few months of bullishness on the Heiken Ashi. You had a couple months here. But you know what? It could also just be a short-term rally within a downtrend. We still have a little bit to prove, guys. The monthly is probably looking nice. So we got a green Heiken Ashi trying to form. We have about, 3 or 4 days left in this month. We have wicks on both sides. This is a reversal type Heiken Ashi candle. So when you had the reversal here, we ended up having our rally. So if we can finish this month with a green reversal type Heiken Ashi, that could be, you know, the next sign for a rally, okay? Let's go down to the 3-day. 3-day is now turned green. You had a red one here, but now we're putting in a green reversal, looking good. On the 2-day, we have a nice solid bullish Heiken Ashi. On the 1-day, even nicer bullish Heiken Ashi. 12 hours, going to be a few of them, I'm sure. So yeah, you have this nice, and they're getting bigger. See, it starts small, larger and larger. So that's nice to see. And on the 4-hour, I'm sure it's bullish too. Okay, looking good, guys. Thanks for watching. I try to post these videos as much as possible, so definitely, you know, hit the bell for notifications so you get these updates immediately. Price can change pretty fast, so you want to stay in tune with the market, and we'll see you next time. Not financial advice. All right.